Hi, I'm Rebecca Wald, and I'm a psychologist in Baltimore, Maryland. Today, I want to talk to you about COVID-19 and grief. There are probably few people in America right now who are not experiencing grief. Um, you, of course, may have a loved one, a friend, or a family member who is very ill, or someone who has died. But even if you haven't, probably all of us are grieving the loss of our regular lives and the normal events and activities that matter to us. So I'm going to talk about both kinds of grief today. And let me start with some words for people who have lost a loved one during this time. In our society, we have rituals around bereavement. We may sit Shiva and be visited by our friends and relatives. We might have a wake. We might have viewing hours at a funeral home. We might take bereavement leave from work. All of these routines and rituals are set up to protect grieving as a special time that is set apart from normal circumstances. They're signals to other people that they shouldn't expect the usual things from you. And they are also set up to surround you with the support of your community and the caring of people who can comfort you. So, right now, most of those rituals have been disrupted by COVID-19. You may not be able to be in the hospital with a loved one who is dying. Funerals, memorial services, wakes have all been postponed or moved online or canceled. And with the absence of these structures that help us set bereavement apart as a special time, you can feel weirdly dislocated and off balance in your grief. None of the things that you're accustomed to participating in as part of rituals of celebrating someone's life and mourning their death. When those are absent, you may feel like you have to go on and live your regular life. If you're not traveling out of town for a funeral, can you work from home? If you are not being visited by family and neighbors, does that mean that you should be cooking your own meals? So, this sense of dislocation from our normal rituals can take away your sense that it is all right for you to have that set aside time to mourn. But that time is so important. I really want to encourage you to take the time to care for yourself. Let go of anything that is an outside responsibility. Don't work even if you technically could. Consider that you're taking bereavement leave. Make space for your grieving to happen. Gather with other people who are mourning, online or by phone, safely. Share your memories, share your feelings. Send each other pictures or memories of the deceased. The reason that we have set aside time in our society and that we join together when someone is grieving is because those things are critically important. And we have to find a way to make that happen, even in our current state of isolation. If you have a friend or family member who has lost someone during this crisis, and please be aware that people are bereaved right now for reasons that have nothing to do with coronavirus and are struggling with the same feelings of being cut off from the supports that we all know are needed. Please reach out to your friends. Send an email or an actual letter. Let them know you're available if they want to talk on the phone. Share your favorite memories of the person that they lost. In many communities, you mark the death of a neighbor or a friend by bringing over some food for the grieving family, a casserole or brownies. That's still an important thing to do. And you can do that by setting up a meal delivery service for the family so that they don't have to be worried about how to get food on their table at this moment. In every way that we can, we want to surround people who are grieving with love and let this be a set apart time for them to deal with their feelings. Grief is so hard. And the only way past it is to go through. So please recognize and honor the need for mourning in yourself and in others. So let me talk about another kind of grief that people are experiencing. And if you have had a recent loss of a family member or a loved one, you can turn the video off now, because my message directly for you is over, and this might be a little harder for you to hear. Because this is a time when a lot of us, probably all of us, are grieving the loss of our normal. At first, this might have seemed like a temporary disruption, but now, as we are facing the possibility of months cut off from our usual routines and gathering, you might find that your feeling of loss is building and that there's a sadness and grief that feel overwhelming sometimes. And you might be embarrassed about that. You might be saying the people that you were talking to in the first part of the video, the ones who have lost someone, they're the ones who deserve to have their grief recognized. I just need to get over it. But if you've had to cancel a wedding, a birthday party, a vacation, a family reunion, a sports season, a camp, all of the things that are ritual parts of your life, that are important parts of your life, if you have had your high school graduation canceled or your prom, milestones that you can't get back because they only happen once, it is right and appropriate for you to grieve those losses. It doesn't take anything away from other people who are grieving to recognize that this feeling that you're having right now probably is partly grief. And that's okay. And I'm sorry. So different things are going to make each one of us mourn. For some people, they were fine with schools being closed for the rest of the year. For other kids, that feels like a death sentence. Some people might feel totally fine about missing out on their family vacation, but it really might hit them that they're not going to be able to have that birthday party for a significant birthday. I bring this up because you might be tempted to judge someone, especially somebody close to you, if they don't seem bothered by missing something that matters to you. Or if they're having a strong grief reaction to something that seems to you like it's minor or petty. I ask that you extend grace to each other right now and be understanding that this hits all of us in different ways. That probably goes double for kids who might be grieving and angry about missing things that seem trivial to adults. Try to find it in your heart to recognize that as grief. If you have been the person who has had to cancel something, an event that other people look forward to, and you get pushback from your community, I hope that you can recognize that in part as an expression of their grief, that this event mattered to them. Like I said in the first video that I made, these are not normal times. And so we are not going to feel normal. It's reasonable to feel dislocated and sad right now. And it's really okay. You're allowed to feel that way. Try to be gentle with yourself. Try to do soothing things. That might be like a hot bath, a long shower, your favorite fragrances, wearing clothes that feel comfortable and soothing. So all of these can be things that you do to extend a little care and comfort to yourself. It might mean finding a favorite childhood book and rereading it for that sense of comfort. You might want to make a deep dive into pictures of a canceled event, to let yourself have those feelings and be sad, or have the memories from before. Different things are going to make each of us feel comforted, just like different things are going to set off our grief. So this is a time of national calamity. It's an appropriate time to mourn. You may be having these feelings now. You may be dealing with other people who are having these feelings in a very present way in your life. You may not be hit by this yet, and maybe thinking that you will escape grief, only to find that it sneaks up on you from some apparently trivial cause. Whatever your feelings and whenever they hit, please take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And reach out to other people safely by voice or online. Because one of the things that we need in grief is community. And that's something that's not dependent on our physical presence. Thanks for listening today. Please leave a comment if you have any topics that you'd like me to discuss in the future. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay well.